Hi all, Pankaj here. So in this video we're going to talk about math formulas. Now what do I mean by math formula? Like whenever I'm talking about math formula, I mean the formula where the written type is either number, currency or percentage. Okay, when any of these is a written type, I call them math formula. Okay, I've just clubbed all them into one category. Now let's understand what is number, currency and percent. Though all of you know, but let's take a look on it. Okay, first number is any positive or negative number, either integer or a decimal. That's simple. Now when currency is basically a number that comes with a currency sign, and in your org you can change the currency sign. Either you want a dollar or a rupee or a euro, whatever you want you could change by going to the company setting. Okay, now we talk about percent. Okay, a percent, we know that is a number that comes with a percentage sign. So here is a little different, because whenever we create a formula with a written type as percent, that number is stored as a number divided by 100, but on the user interface it is a number multiplied by 100 with a percentage sign. Okay, that's the only thing you need to keep in mind when working with percent. Now let's look into few functions that we are going to use in this video to understand different scenarios, and also the functions that are commonly used that you must be aware of. Though there are functions more than these, but whenever you're talking about math formulas, these are the function you need to be aware of. Okay, so let's take a look at them. These are pretty elementary function, like most of you will be aware of from your school days. Okay, now let's if the first is absolute. What it do is it calculate the absolute value irrespective of the sign, either it's a negative sign or a positive sign at the number. It will just give the value of that. Okay, that is what absolute do. Next is ceiling. What it do is basically it rounds off a number to the nearest integer that would be away from that number. For example, now let's suppose there is a number at 3.45. now it would round off it as 4, whether it's a 3.1, 3.2, 3.4, 3. Even 3.9, it will be rounded off as 4. Okay, that is the example of ceiling. Now floor is do the same, it do the rounding off but in the opposite direction. What I mean by that, suppose let's take the same number 3.4, 3.1, whatever that number would be, it would be rounded off to 3. Now let's talk about this point away from 0 if negative. Let's take an example. Suppose the number is minus 3.1, it will be rounded off as minus 4. Suppose the number is minus 4.1, it would be rounded off to minus 5. Now for the floor, it says towards 0 if negative. For example, if the number is minus 3.1, it would be rounded off to minus 3. So that what the ceiling and floor do. Now max and min are clear, you are clear with it. It basically finds the highest number from a list of numbers, and minimum min is minimum, which finds the minimum number from a list of numbers. Now modulus, what it does, it returns us the remainder after a number is divided by a specific divisor. Okay, like whatever the remainder of a division is written by the mode function. Now let's talk about round. What it do is it rounds off a number to specific decimal places that you specify in the formula. We will look into it. Okay, now square root is clear, it just find the square root of a number. Okay, there are many other math functions available in the formula editor, but these are the one that are commonly in use and you must be aware of them. Okay, now let's talk about the case scenario that we are going to discuss, and in the purview of it we will discuss other functions as well. They may be math function or may not be. Okay, so let's take the scenario that we're going to discuss in this video. Now let's discuss the case scenario that we're going to discuss here. Okay, there are 4 subject score fields on a student object. They are English, native is their native language, maths and science. Ignore this native, I just have written it 2 times. Okay, now what is the scenario is, suppose what the school is doing is it's giving a prize money to students based on their marks. What they are doing is they have formulated a formula for that. What is that? They will sum the score of all the 4 subjects and then divide by 2. Whatever the amount would be, it would be given as a prize money to the student. Okay, now there is another twist with it. Like what the school is doing, whatever the prize money that comes out to be, they are investing in some investment opportunity, and they will be returning the interest plus the amount to the student at the end of 1 year. That is what they are doing. So with the interest rate, they comes with a strategy, like if the prize money the student get is less than 100, greater than 50, that is between 50 and 100, okay, they would give them the interest rate of 2%. If the prize money the student is getting is greater than 100 and less than 150, that is greater than equal to 100 and less than 150, they will give them the interest rate of 3%. Else, that is greater than 150 and less than equal to 200, they will be giving them the 4% interest. Okay, why I'm saying 200? Because there are 4 subjects, so the maximum marks they could get is 400, and 400 divided by 2 is 200. Prize money can never go over 200. Okay, that's why I'm saying 200. And we are assuming the lowest possible score a student could get is 0. Like there is no possibility that a student could get a negative mark. Now we are gonna calculate final amount. Okay, final amount will be given using simple interest. Okay, those who don't know what simple interest, it's just a fixed interest that is given irrespective of how many years. Okay, so but in our case it's just for 1 year, so the final amount formula that we're gonna use is prize money plus prize money into interest rate. Okay, and that could come out to be prize money into 1 plus interest rate. We just took the prize money common. Okay, and we will be rounding off to it to 2 decimal places. Okay, that is also a requirement. And then we are also going to find highest score and the lowest score. For that we will going to use max and min function. Now the school is also calculating another parameter called N2E absolute, which in this case is native language score minus the English language score. Okay, now it could be positive or negative. Suppose in English the marks is lower as compared to native, the value would be positive. If native has lower marks than English, then it would be negative, but we are taking only the absolute value for that. For that we are going to use absolute function. Now for the floor and the ceiling function, we will be getting 2 average score. One is called average score floor, one is called average score ceiling. And now we also have one index, competitive index, which would be calculated as square root of the sum of the score divided by 5, and then we would be taking the mode of it. Mode, remainder. So that is what we are gonna calculate. Okay, so these are the requirements that we want to calculate using our functions and the formulas. So let's move to our org and start calculating these things. Okay, so here we are on our org. So let's check the student object for field already. That's our object that we want to check. Okay, and let's click new. Okay, as you could see, I've already created these fields. Okay, so that we could start directly in writing formulas. So let's start with the formulas. Go to the setup and then go to the student object, and from the object manager, once it's loaded, so we will go to and search here the student object. Okay, and we go there, and then fields and relationship, and we want to create new one. And I've already copied those requirements here on our online notepad. So what is the first requirement? First requirement is we're going to calculate prize money. Since it's a money, okay, so we are going to take the currency field. Okay, so we are going to go there, formula, which is where, yeah, it's here itself, formula, and then we go next, and then we type let's copy it from here itself instead of typing it. Okay, prize money, and the return type would be currency. Okay, and the decimal places we want the currency might be returning is, let's take it as 2. Okay, so next, and let's design a formula that would be same like this one, sum of score. So sum of score would be, so let's insert the fields. So we go to student, and then where is that field? Science is here. Okay, where is maths? This is maths. Insert, and then the operator, which would be add, then insert again English this time. The operator would be plus, and then the next, which was English and maths are done, the science, and then the native we require. Okay, we go with add, and then insert again, and this time we're going to take native. Now we have all of them. Now we're gonna use parentheses here. So we're going to take is, where is that parenthesis? Yeah, open one we need, and a close one we need here. So that is one. And now we want to divide by, what was the formula? It gonna divide by 2. So we are done with our prize money formula. Okay, now let's check the syntax if it's correct or not. Okay, the syntax is correct, so we are good to go with it, and let's just save it. Okay, next, and it's done. Let's save and new, because we want to let's create all the functions in one go and then check the output. Okay, if it's loading, it's taking time. Yeah, so now the next formula we want to create is interest rate. Okay, now there are certain conditions with it, so that we're going to design it
So the requirement says if the prize money is between 100, if the prize money is greater than 0, greater than 50 and less than 100, then the interest should be 2%. Okay, if the prize money is greater than equal to 100 and less than 150, then the interest should be 3%. Okay, and if it is between 150 and 200, then the interest rate should be 4%. And why I'm saying 200? Because the maximum score the student could get in any subject is 100, and we have how many subjects? 4 subjects. Now the sum of the maximum, so the sum would be 400, the maximum sum, and then divide by 2 would be 200, so the maximum prize money would be 200. Okay, so that's why I'm saying between 200. So let's design this, and for designing this we want to use if function. Okay, so let me tell you what this if function is before we start. So we go to this logical and then this if. Okay, what this if do is, if the condition or parameter defined here comes to be true, then this value is returned. If they come to be false, this value is returned. So let's write our own logic here. So remove this and we have to insert the field prize money. Okay, so the first requirement is prize money should be greater than 0. Okay, and prize money, let's copy this one. Okay, copy this, and prize money less than greater than 50, okay, greater than 50 and prize money less than 100. Okay, we are gonna get a interest of 2%. Okay, 2%. Okay, 2%. And if this condition, if it is not true, like this condition is not true, then it's gonna come into this part. Okay, so here we again gonna check the condition whether the amount is greater than equal to 100 and less than 150. So for that we will be using an if again. Okay, so we have if again, and here we will be testing the condition again. So let's copy this and then modify it. Okay, copy this and we paste it here. Okay, now the condition is prize money should be greater than equal to 100 and prize money should be less than 150. If it is in this range, then the return value would be 3%. Okay, 3, and else if it's false, then 4%. So hope you are able to understand the formula. And now one thing, as I told you that the value stored here is as a value divided by 100. Okay, and then it is returned as a value multiplied by 100 with a percent sign. So it should be divided by 100, then we would have here 0.02. Same goes for this 0.03, and then we have 0.04. Okay, 0.4. Now our formula is ready. First check the syntax before I explain it again. Yeah, its syntax is correct. So that's it. Let me explain the formula again. It says if the prize money is between these ranges or following these conditions, then the interest return would be 2%. But if not following, then it goes to the false part, which is this one. Here we again are checking the condition if the prize money is greater than equal to 100 and less than 150. If it's in this range, it would return 3%. If it is not in this range, then it would return 4%. So that's the formula, and we have checked it and it's working great. So let's save it, go next, and then we go again next, and we save it. Okay, so one requirement is done. So we are done with these two requirements. Now next is to calculate the final amount. Now it's again an amount, so it would be a currency field. Okay, so let's calculate this one and go to new, and then we go to the formula. Where is that? Here is the formula. Go to the formula, and what is the field name? Let me copy it, final amount. Okay, final amount we just copied. Okay, equals this, we copied it. Okay, so let me save it, final amount, and then final amount, and it's gonna be currency field, and the decimal be 2. Okay, then next, and now what's our formula is, it says final amount is equal to this. So let me copy this and then we will change it. Okay, the formula as per the API values of the field. Okay, So the currency should be price money into 1 plus interest rate. Okay, so let me change this one first. Insert field. Okay, let me change interest rate here. Insert field, and we have interest rate here. Insert and then change the price money. Insert field. So our formula is ready, but the bracket should be a multiplication symbol. So let me insert the operator. So now our formula is done. So now we could calculate the final amount after the end of 1 year with the required interest rate. Now we are done with it. Let's check the syntax first. Hope it's working. It's working. So let's save it. Let's go next, and then next, and save it. So our next requirement is to calculate the highest score and the lowest score. So we will be calculating the highest score by going to new. Then once it's load, then we select the formula. Then we go next. Since we are calculating the maximum score, which is a number, so the return type would be number, and just let's put the same name here, highest score. Highest score, then we again calculate highest score. Okay, here then we take 2 as decimal places, then we go next. Okay, and then we have our function, the max function. Where is that max function? It's in the max category, so go there and then go select this. Okay, and let's put those fields here. Okay, so we have to put all the subject marks field. Like first let's begin with science, then we have English, where is it? English, let's take native, and then we have native, we took English. Then we are left with maths. Let's insert maths. Yeah, maths we inserted. Now we have inserted the field. Okay, now let me copy this, because in the minimum we also wanna need the same thing. So let me copy this, that minimum, and let's check the syntax. Syntax is good, so first next, save and new, and again no formula. Then we have lowest score, field lowest score, and then we have it's as a number field. Then we go next, and then we select from the math category, we select the lowest form, the min function. Okay, yeah, select the min and just change this value to the space, and we are done with it. Check the syntax. Yeah, it's good to go. Then we again go next, then next, and then we save it. So we are done with these two requirements as well. Okay, highest score and minimum. For the final amount, I forgot to round off to 2 decimal places, so let me add that function as well. Let's go back to the final amount. Okay, yeah, it's here. Let me edit this one, edit it, and then we use the round function here. Okay, so let me use the round function here. Where is that? It is also under math category, the round function. Yeah, select it and just copy this one. Okay, let me control Z. Let's copy this and place inside this, and we want it to be round off to 2 decimal places, so we select 2 and we are done with it. And let's check the syntax again. I hope it's working fine. Yeah, it's working fine, and save it. Okay, so we are done with this as well, like that modification. So we are done until here. Okay, and now let's apply this N to E absolute. Okay, we go to fields and relationship, and then we again go to that new, and then select the formula field, and then we go to next, and then let's copy the name. That name is N2E absolute. Okay, copy this one, and then we paste it into absolute, and this, since it's on a number, it's a number, so let's select the number, and then we go next. So now we are done with this, and now let's select that maths absolute formula. Where is that? Where is that maths ABS? Yeah, here is ABS. Insert, and then we put here the native score. Native, where is native? Native, yeah, here is the native, and then we subtract it from the English. Yeah, here is the English, so that we are done with that as well. So check syntax. Yeah, it's good to go. Then we go next, and the same process again. Next, and we just save and do, because we need other from the fields again. So we are done with this. Just two requirement more. So let's calculate this average score floor and average score at ceiling. Okay, let's copy this name, average score floor, and it's gonna be again a number. So number, then we go next. So what is, you want to insert field, and let's calculate the average of them. Science, insert, then we have English, insert, and then we have a maths. Where is that? Native is here, and where is maths? Yeah, maths here. Since we're going to calculate average, it's going to add all of them. Okay, let's sum it and divide by 4 then. Okay, that is, so we have calculated the average, but we are going to calculate which field is average score floor. So we're going to put it inside the floor. Okay, so let me select the floor here. Is this? No, let me check. Is this the floor? Oh yeah, here is the floor. Insert selected floor. Where does it got added? And let me remove that again. Okay, it got in between them. Let me take it, select floor here, and then just copy this thing inside it. So it's done. So let me copy this again, because we will be needing that in the ceiling one. Let me check the syntax. Yeah, so it's working. Then next, and then next, and then we save and new, because we need to clear that. And average score ceiling, it's going to be formula again, and then we go next, and we have to write average score ceiling. Okay, that is done. Then we have number as a return type, then go next, and then from the formulas, math formulas, we select ceiling. Inside that we copy this, the whole thing. So it's done. This, yeah, it's done. Let's check the syntax. Hope it's going correct. It's right. It's great. So we go next, and then we just save it. Okay, next, and save and new, because we need to create another one as well, which is competitive index. Let me copy the name, and then we would calculate it. Competitive index, where is that formula? Here is formula. Then next, and then we have competitive index. Okay, it's again going to be a number. Then we select number. Then next, let it be, say, two decimal places. Okay, we already selected that, already shown that. So what the formula is, it's finding the square root of the sum of the score, and then finding the mode of that. But okay, the formula is not correct itself. Yeah, that, I guess that was not copied. It was, the requirement was this. So the requirement was, we will sum all the marks, and then find this, then find the square root of it, and then divide by 5, and then find the mode. So that is the requirement. So to do that, let's insert that field again. Yeah, this task is so redundant. They should add a function for sum as well. Insert science, and then we have other subject, and there is native English, the maths I here, then English. There is English, here is it. Let's add them. And we need to find the square root of it. So we go to that again math category and take the square root. Okay, and put this here. And then we will divide it by 5. Okay, and then we need to take the mode of it. Okay, let's insert mode again. Yeah, mode as well. Insert mode. Okay. Okay, since we found, yeah, divisor is already there now, so we don't need to provide this here. So what we will do is copy this one, put here, number is this, and the divisor is 5. Okay, let's put that and remove this, all this. So, and we are done with our formula. Let me check the syntax. I hope it's correct. Yeah, it's correct. So let's save it. Next, and save it. So we are done with all of our form requirement of the formulas. Now it's time to test them. Okay, so let's check. Let's go to here and let's create a new one. Okay, just click new. Let the name of the student be Salesforce Hunter. Okay, and for the classes, let it be 5th standard. Okay, these are not required for now. For the English, let's put 89.5, 53.20. Though number like this are generally not given in the exam, but we need to test everything, so we will be putting some values like this 0, and then we have say 88.02023, and then we have say 98. Okay, so we have placed that, and then we just save it, and let's see how these things are calculated. Okay, so the prize money would be 164.1, the interest would be 4%. Okay, is coming to be I guess it's coming above 100, between 100. Okay, so 4%, and the final amount would be $70.99, and the highest score would be 98. Yeah, it's the highest score is 98 and the lowest score is 53. Absolute value is 8.50, and we have the average ceiling score 83 and competitive index is 3.13. Okay, let me do one thing. Let's take the calculator and find some values, and we could see whether it's working. Or you could do like, let's do one thing. You do the calculation on your own and let me know if you face any problem, or if you find any answer is wrong, then we could connect. Okay, like connect with me over LinkedIn, or drop me a mail, but I would suggest connect with me over LinkedIn because I'm active there, or you could drop in the comments because comments I keep checking. But so that is done from the math formula side. But before we close, let me take few let's take few best practices in the. So before we close this session, now let's look into some of the common errors or common issues we get while designing formulas, basically the math formulas. So one of the common issue is dividing by 0. You know that in maths we can't divide a number by 0, and the same applies when you are designing a formula. Though you will not get an error message or error, okay, but it's especially important if you are designing a function where a number is getting divided by a field having a value 0, because the field's value changes as you design new reports. So you need to keep that in mind. Okay, and you don't get an error, but you get an empty field. Okay, if you are dividing by 0. Now to counter this situation, we could use if statement. Now here is a requirement. We want to calculate on the account object the revenue per employee. Okay, so how much revenue an employee is getting. Okay, for that what we do is annual revenue divided by the total number of employees. Okay, that's the formula. But we have added one condition here. If the number of employees is not equal to 0, then it calculate the revenue per employee using the same formula, that is annual revenue divided by number of employees. But if they are equal to 0, then it gives the annual revenue per employee as 0. So how it's working, if the number of employees not equal to 0, calculate like this. If it equal to 0, then give 0 as the output in the annual revenue. Okay, so that's how this formula is working. Okay, now you will not get any error message if you get divided by, like if the number get divided by 0, you will just get a empty field. Okay, as I told you. But to design the error message, you go to the validation rule. That would be coming in the future videos on the formula topic itself. Okay, so till then just design it, and we will discuss about the warnings and all in the validation. So now let's check the another issue, which is of a blank field or a null value. Now like it might be tempting to you to check a null field by using the field name equal to null or not equal to null. You can't do that because this functionality doesn't work in Salesforce. So the best practice to do that in Salesforce is using isBlank. Okay, which checks whether the field is blank or not. You could also use a function called isNull, but isBlank is preferred. Why? Because isBlank doesn't work on the text field, and also in Salesforce text field can't be null, so it doesn't work on the text field. So we use isBlank, which works on both numbers and text. Okay, and also you need to keep one thing. There are options when you design the field, as I have already shown you in previous video, but we'll see in this video as well. You treat the blank, whether you want to treat the blank field as 0 or want to treat the blank field as blank. Okay, if you treat blank field as zeros, then this isBlank will not work, because it works only when the field is blank. But if you select this, the blank field will automatically be 0. Okay, so keep that in mind. So how do we cater this problem? What we use is if statement. Again, we are calculating the revenue per employee, so we will use it isBlank or number of employees, checking whether number of employees field is blank or not. If it is blank, let's forget this for now. If it is blank, which is if it is true, then it gives 0 as output. If it is not blank, then it would calculate the revenue per employee using the usual formula, that is annual revenue divided by number of employees. Now why I have added this? I have added this to cater the situation. Suppose we have actually enter the value as 0. Since we can't divide by 0, and if it get divided by 0, we will just get a blank field for the revenue for the revenue per employee, which we don't want. So that's why I'm also catering for that situation here as well. Now let's check this into org. I've already designed this formula in the org, so let's go to the our org and check the account object. Okay, so we are here in our org. Go to the account and first go here, fields and relationship, not field and relationship. Go to the object manager, and then we go to the account, and then we go to the fields and relationship, and I have already calculated that, so it will come here. Yeah, revenue per employee. So I've already designed the formula for it. Let me go to the edit. So is null, like, as you know that this will not work. Not equal to null or equal to null will not work. So what we would do is just remove this. Instead of this, go to the logical function and then isBlank. Yeah, here is it, and then we just cut it, and then we put it here. Now it's the same formula. If isBlank, number of revenues. Okay, if isBlank is true, then we get 0. If it is not, then we get annual revenue. Okay, let's remove this. And also we were using another condition with the OR statement, that would be or it is, and then we were calculating if number of employees not equal to 0. Not equal to 0. Not equal to only equals to 0. If it's 2, equal to 0. Okay, equal to 0. If the number of employees come out to be equal to 0, we have to check that formula in the presentation again. If in the presentation I mentioned this as not equal to 0, then do keep in mind, modify that, and it should be equal to 0, because we are checking only the true condition where it is actually a blank or it is actually a 0. Okay, so that's how the formula will look like. Let me check the syntax. Hope it's working fine. Yeah, it's working fine. Just save it. So it's done. Now let's move back to the accounts. Okay, and select the new account, Salesforce Hunter Test. So we have designed that and put here any random value. Okay, and now let's come to that. Let's put annual revenue as 100. Okay, let's leave it as blank. Okay, one thing I forgot to check. Just go here and go edit. Yeah, here I have not selected this. It is already treating blank field as blank. Remember, by default it will be, this option will be selected, but you could change it. Okay, so let's treat this as this one and we save it. Okay, and now let me refresh it again, though I didn't need it, was already on the blank field, but let's cancel it. Okay, 100, and let employees leave it blank and save it. 1000 and leave it blank, and then you go to the details and scroll down, and you could say it's already coming 0. Now let's edit it. Number of employees, let's give it 2 and save it, and you will have your output here, that is 500. Okay, now let's keep it 0, and you will see it will come as 0. As you could, now let me show you what happens when there is a division by 0 situation and we don't cater for it. It comes as a blank field, as I told you. So go here and edit it, and we just, what we do here is, let me remove all this and let's do this. Okay, and we are treating blank field as zeros. Okay, and we save it. Okay, and let me edit this, and you will see on your own it will come as a blank field. Details, and then go here and you see it's blank. So that's what happens when there is a division by 0 situation. Hope you are able to understand all this, and I guess thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.